Give it a minute. We're waiting on Facebook. Okay. Hey, wait. It's supposed to be speaker full screen. Hmm. Oh well, so that's not gonna work. All right. So we're just gonna kick it off here. Hello, hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your podcast host Keegan, and this is your podcast for all mental health, addiction, recovery issues, and topics. It's been a long weekend, and it hasn't even been the weekend yet. So it's, if you can't tell, I'm extremely tired. I've gotten a schedule sort of in place, and I actually have my little thingy here. So, um, I wanted to edit and publish 1 to 2 episodes. I've got 2 edited. I've got 1 published. The other one is coming, but 2 were submitted to the radio station. Um, Showed Jordy how much he means to me. Done. Clean room. Done. Clean altar. That's for tomorrow. Let's see. Push-ups. I did some days lunges, couple days sit-ups, couple days meditation morning and evening. Couple on both of those as well. Not as consistent as I want to be, and blah 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 blah. Anyways, yeah. So having a schedule, it's kind of nice, and it's also kind of making me realize that some of my time wasn't necessarily well utilized, and so that's why I made the schedule. But the thing is, with that, I've been able to kind of take it back to basics a little bit, and with that, I mean going back to the self care, self love. So it's not just for recovery, right? It's literally for anyone and everyone because, I mean, you love yourself, right? I hope you do because if you don't, you should. And trust me, I'm speaking from experience of hating myself the most more than anyone else could ever even try to conceive to hate me. So, I believe me, if you're in that dark space, try to love yourself. I know it sounds stupid, but you can do it. And it's not going to come in a blink of an eye. Maybe it will, who knows? But for most of us, like myself, it did not. So, kind of left with the whole thing of I can tell you that it's going to get better, but I will also be the one to tell you that you've got to put in the work. It's not going to work if you don't work it. It's not the hocus pocus magic, like Disney. Um, but in some regards, it is. But aside from that, no, well, that's rather what it feels like, right? Because that's what Disney makes everything to be about is that love. And so self love is a strange concept to, well, myself and probably some other people. And, that's okay. That's totally fine. But to keep beating myself up for years and years and years and just beat myself into such a hole that no one could pull me out of, yeah, that sucked. Ouch. Maybe I should, let's see, I'm exiting that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm exiting that. I don't know why. I hope that wasn't too loud. I'm sure y'all could hear that through because that sounded like it bursted an eardrum. But then again, my headphones are actually pretty loud right now. I didn't notice that because my apartment is super quiet. Maybe it's just that differential thing. Maybe they're not actually that loud. It's just how oddly quiet it is. But that's one thing I love about this place because it is quiet enough that I can sit here and do meditations and work on loving myself. Loving myself. Oh man. And don't get it twisted. Don't get that sick idea of self love in your head. It's the other kind. It's the one where you like hug myself and tell myself it's going to be okay. Because sometimes I need that. Sometimes I need me to pick myself up. And it sounds silly, but it's not quite the same as pull up your bootstraps. It's not the same as suck it up, buttercup. It's not the same as rub some dirt on it. All those little idioms. It's nothing like that, but it from the outside perspective, whenever you haven't done it, it sounds like it. And It just does. But it's not. And the reason why is because whenever I first started to learn to care for myself, I thought it was strange because I had to listen to myself and ask myself questions. And these questions are the same kind of questions that I would ask a friend in need. So why wasn't I paying attention to what I needed? And it's because priorities get mixed up, emotions get messed up with all of that, and then judgments from others, ideas of others, so on and so forth. And the perception of self love or just self perception gets molded and shaped and partially created by other people. But if I harness that hate or dislike towards myself, that resentment towards myself, it just grows into worse things. I'm not able to be of service. I'm not able to fully love. I'm not able to articulate thoughts very well, and that's not to say that there are definitely episodes where you can tell that there's stuff happening behind the scenes because my brain is like, and it's because I'm working on myself while I'm doing this podcast, while I'm working a normal 8 to 5. It's because it's just the way life goes. Um, I try to keep up that personal and work life and podcast life. I try to keep them all kind of separated, but they all bleed into each other one way or another because that's just how it goes, right? But taking that little step back to practice some self love and self care, to ask myself those questions, really means a lot. And it means a lot to myself. And that's the thing, is that I used to not give myself the time of day all those years ago, and sometimes still today. It's not like, oh, I was done with it and that's it. What it was is saying, hey, I can recognize that I can do this and that I do this a lot. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to do my best to not do that. And there's times where I don't know how to love myself because I don't know how to love in that way. And so that's whenever other people get to teach me how to love in that way. And man, sometimes it's like I didn't really understand what some concepts were until other people showed me. And I wish I had specific examples, but sometimes I my brain is just really bad. Like, I've had a lot of concussions. I've hit my head a lot. For anyone that knows me in my past, yeah, I've hit my head a lot. Like, so, that wasn't even the hard one, the hard spot. That was, um, but let's see. How do you love yourself? How do you love yourself? You love yourself by first asking yourself the questions, as if you're asking a friend what they need. How can I help you? What is it that you need, and how can I provide assistance if you want it? And I can also ask myself, do I need a solution? Do I need to vent? Or do I just need company? And then I can go and find the appropriate company. And those are other questions that I may have to sit there and tell someone, like, hey, I've got this going on with me, and I would really appreciate it if I could use you as a soundboard just to vent. I just need to get some stuff off my chest, and that's it. Like, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to try to give responses or anything like that. Just listen, hear me out, and make me feel heard. And once you get that stuff off your chest, it feels amazing, and that is self-care too. I say it's self-care as well because you feel better after, right? You are taking care of one of your needs, even though you're involving someone else or someone else chooses to get involved. Uh, so long as you let them know, like, hey, what's going on, and all that, and you just don't spring it up on them out of nowhere. Um, but to involve someone else is self care in a way, because you're listening. Maybe you do legitimately need company for one reason or another, and that's going to be your ticket is, hey, I just need company. I don't care I don't care if they talk. I don't care if they just sit there. I don't care if they laugh, cry with me, blah, blah, blah. Just company. And sometimes that's the ticket, you know, to getting a little bit deeper with oneself. And keep in mind, this is all experience based. And the thing is, with those experiences, that they're a spiral because it'll happen. I'll learn a lesson. It'll happen again. I learn another lesson, so on and so forth. And that's how life is. That's how recovery is. It's not a straight line. It's not a circle. It's a spiral, constantly going up, constantly going down. And it's whichever way I kind of want to paint it. But that self care aspect can also be looked at as in, say, I'm having a really bad day. All I have to do, and say all I want is some ice cream, let myself have some ice cream. It's not good for me, but by any means. Like, I have bad allergies, and my teeth suck, and this, that, and another. But if I really want some because I'm in that bad of a mood, then I might as well kind of give myself a little bit of ice cream because it's not bad. It's not something I need to avoid. And but that's also the thing. I've learned and I'm learning limits with uh, substances such as food and sugar and soda and energy drinks, you name it. The things that addicts and alcoholics go to whenever they get sober and stuff, I'm still dealing and learning how to handle these things. And that's self care because too much of it is not good for me. But if it's going to help me in my recovery, then it's going to be okay. And that's the thing, is that my main goal is recovery. So it's something that if it's not caring towards myself in that regard, it's something that I need to let go of. And sometimes that's not a fun, like, little journey, you know? Sometimes it's really not. And that's what will keep someone in addiction, such as myself, for many years. Um, but self care is self love is super important. I wish I could stress it more, but I can't. Um, and you're going to have to understand it. Once you understand it one day, it's going to just blow you away. You're going to be like, I've been my own best friend this whole time. Whoa. And it's just going to be crazy because you've been there this whole time. I've been with me this whole time, and I treated myself so badly. Okay, did hmm. I have an idea what that noise was. I'm gonna have to. Okay, so 13-ish, 13:30. Okay, there we go. It's marked. I'm gonna go back and listen for a little weird sound again, but um, but I need a safe space to practice self-care, and I think everyone does because it's something that most people aren't familiar with and they're not comfortable with. And healing and all that takes a comfortable space, a safe space, and most importantly, support. So if you or someone you know is suffering mental health crisis, then go ahead and dial 988. It is a hotline for prevention of unaliving oneself. And, well, all I can really say is if you ever need to reach out or anything, hit up Retrieving Sanity on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. Try to get a hold of me. If you need to get a hold of me and you get a hold of me and you need something, let me know. If you got ideas, comments, suggestions, whatever for the podcast, I want to hear them. If you want to be on this, if you want to be on the podcast, if you want to share your story about recovery, about life experiences, how you overcame them, stuff like that, let me know. I want to have you on, and I want to explore all that kind of stuff with you. And I don't want to have you on just one time. one and done. No, you're going to get at least 2 episodes because no one's story is done in just 1 episode. And I guarantee you, no one's story is done in 2 episodes either, or three, or four, or five. But we can have you on as long as I'm doing this, and I see myself doing it for the foreseeable future. So, if you want on the show, come on. But spread the news. Self care is important. Everyone can do it every day, and maybe the world would be a little bit of a better place. But who knows? So, with that, I'm going to pass the mic on over to, well, whatever your attention span is going to go to next. So, with that, love you. Bye.